spots in some of them. These are the mule deer still. Kind of a sort of really close, like a sub-variant of black-tailed deer.
Should I go or should I stay?
Yeah. Stay there.
Par 72, 18 holes. The cost is about $300 per round. And it opened up in 1987, and it is a links course out here, kind of dating back to the original Scottish concept of golf, as they used to call it. But it was established, you know, the game of golf over 500 years ago. But this course is meant to resemble a Scottish sort of area, and it's actually very close. You know, a lot of times people will show photos of this golf course, and people will be like, oh, that must be Scotland. They keep the tradition as well. So at the end of the evening at 5 p.m., as they're closing down the golf course, a bagpiper comes out to play the music, close it down. But remember, this is an environmentally sensitive area here, which means that they bend one of the rules. You hit the ball into an area that they're trying to rehabilitate. Actually, according to the course rules, you can actually take a drop and pull it out from that area, which typically you have to play it as it lies, right? Beautiful resort here, the Inn at Spanish Bay, 5-star resort, 270 rooms. All of them come with no air conditioning, but they do come with fireplaces, because it's always quite cold out here on the coast. I keep telling Globus we should spend the night there, but the cheapest rooms are $700 a night. Now the tour would get a little bit more expensive for sure. The most expensive room is a suite up there, $3,200 a night. That's the room they should give the driver. I think at least. But it is a beautiful place to stay.
We'd be departing a little later the next morning.
So you're starting to see some of these nice houses off to the left. I'm going to give you a little hint. They do get better as we go. Especially once we get along the coastal areas, what I love to look at is the windows and how they design the windows. But all these houses have to be built around most of these sort of iconic Monterey cypress and pine trees. But you see what I mean with all the moss drooping down and the fog coming through? I don't know, I think it looks kind of eerie. The weather doesn't change much year-round out here. It's pretty much always like this. Some days, especially as you get into the fall, you'll get some warmer days, some clearer days as well. It doesn't snow out here. It doesn't even rain that much, but there is quite a bit of moisture in the air from the fog. And so as we wind around, we're going to take the next right turn, which is going to get us back a little bit closer to the water. And we'll get a chance to see a little spot over there, which is known as Spanish Bay. Oh, here's a good example of this orange sort of webbing. You'll see it up here to the left past this tree. Someone's building an extension or building a house. So they gotta leave that orange sort of netting that you'll see up there up for a while. And anyone who complains, it goes to that board. And I mean, it's a real, you think your HOA is tough. Let me tell you about the one out here. It's real intense. But they're doing it to protect the natural environment, right? Because remember, this is that fusion of sort of a preserve as well as a place to live. And we'll see if there's any golfers out this morning. Looks like a few folks are out. Playing on Spanish Bay. Now, Spanish Bay gets its name because as the Spanish were coming in, they were trying to get to Monterrey, which isn't, it's just a big bay over here to the left. They would pull in, it's foggy, it's dark, they can't see where they're going, and they would think Spanish Bay was Monterrey, and they try and pull in, but there's this huge kind of sandbar under there, and so all of the ships would get destroyed. And so oftentimes we'll see people doing, with the like metal detectors, looking for little Spanish doubloons and things like that out there. That's where they get the name Spanish Bay. And then as we swing around Spanish Bay, we'll get, if you're following the map, we'll get up to stop number 6 and 7, which will be a place called the Restless Sea and Point Joe. And Point Joe is where these two currents kind of collide with each other. As I was mentioning earlier, you know, either causing it to be relatively calm or super crazy and intense. One of the homes that's actually off limits, you can see it up here to the right, 1 o'clock. It's real close to the coast, just past where these people are walking. It's not a very nice home. That's actually owned by Stanford University. And if you give them enough money, they'll let you spend the night there. And when enough money, I mean like millions of dollars. once we swing past the Restless Sea and Point Joe. The next little stop will be a place called China Rock. And Chinese fishermen started coming out here because of the abalone more than anything else. Later on, they sort of transitioned to squid fishing, and they would do it at night, actually, which was really, really kind of cool. They would fish in these kind of flat-bottom boats that they had made out of coastal redwood, and they could pull them right up onto the sand for easy storage. But because they did it at night, they used fires in these little baskets that they slung over the side of the boat, and so it became one of the early tourist attractions. You know, you didn't have TVs and things like that. You would come out here from the Del Monte Hotel and you'd watch all the Chinese fishermen with all these boats with all of these like fires just on the side of the boat, which I think sounds dangerous.
Good morning, everyone. Captain John here, and welcome to Monterrey. We are here at the Bird Rock viewpoint on 17 Mile Drive. As you saw from the beginning of the video there, we are here having some fun, getting into sights and check out these houses. My goodness, some of these houses here are amazing, and well, you haven't seen nothing yet. These are really nice houses, but as we get down into 17 Mile Drive a little further, they're quite impressive. But let's go check out some sea lions. I hear them barking down there. Let's see if we can find any. See what we can see. Oh yeah, all the birds, very pretty. Well, I hear them, but I don't see them. Oh, there they are. They're out there on the rock, right out there. You can hear them, but you can barely see them because they kind of blend in, but they're out there. You get all the way to the top of that rock, climb all the way up there. It's amazing.
'83, and he wrote Treasure Island, right? And actually, this is considered one of the toughest golf courses on the PGA Tour. About 13 of the holes are kind of through the pines, and then the other ones kind of come into these rolling bluffs out here. But each hole has a name as well, and you can tell how difficult the hole is based on the name. So if it's like one of the really intense characters from Treasure Island, like Black Dog or Billy Bones, those are going to be really tough holes. And then the other ones that are really easier are like Jim Hawkins and stuff like that, if you're familiar with Treasure Island.
Major edition going
Yeah,
on.
we got some major edition coming. They want to build it up.
I think I'll take that one after it's built up.
Okay. I'll reserve it for you.
Oh, it's building up all the way around. Yeah.
They're really doing quite an expansion.
Oh my gosh, look how big this is.
Yeah, this one they put in a couple years ago. That's a nice one too on the left.
That's too big.
And so this is all Spyglass Hill, this golf course here that we're seeing. So I'm not much of a golfer, but the course rating is 75.5, slope rating of 147, and holes 6, 8, and 16 are considered among the toughest on the entire PGA Tour. On 1999, in the U.S. Amateur sort of tournament that came through, the stroke average was in excess of 79. So definitely one of the tougher ones, but still quite a nice golf course for sure. I mean, some of those houses back there, we could all live in that one, I think.
Yeah.
And as we swing around through here, we're going to get along a little spot known as Fan Shell Overlook. And this little spot over here is this is where the harbor seals come to have their pups up through here. And so for, actually, usually it's open by this point, but I have usually like, what are the years for it? It's like, usually April to June is when they close off, especially as we round us down here. All these little beachy spots will just be full of harbor seals having their young. So they'll put up a big fence so you can't get down there, because if you disturb them, the parents will flee right? And then the pups can't find their parents and it's real bad. So that's why they close it off. And now we get into the forest here. I love these Monterey cypress trees, all twisted and gnarled with the gray bark and they look like they're dead, but they're actually alive. All the salt kind of in the air corroding all of the sides of them. Really cool little spot here. And as we swing through, off to the right is one of the private golf courses, a little place called Cypress Point. To be a member of that particular one. But I love just driving through this forest, get all the moss kind of oozing off the trees. Really quite cool. And this is sort of the outskirts of what's known as the Crocker Grove, which is a 13-acre little nature reserve. It's where you'll find the largest of these Monterey cypress trees. Although it's not the most famous Monterey cypress. That one we'll do a stop at next, which is called the Lone Cypress. And that gets its name from Charles Crocker, one of the big four, those railroad guys who actually established this little reserve out here. I'll start to see a few more houses as well. And as I said, these trees, they get up to about 70 feet tall, the oldest about 300 years. So you can see that's the private golf course off there to the right, Cypress Point.
Probably just public.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
He's a car golfer, so I'm like, oh yeah, you know.
Cool, yeah. And so we're going to kind of veer to the right here, through the grove. And then we'll start to see some really good houses. You know, we're leaving the bay behind, and so the houses off to the right that we'll start seeing, these ones, they're going to be right up to the ocean. So they've got some good spots. I mean, some of these houses out here are just insane. I mean, at least according to me. And we will be stopping next at the Lone Cypress. It'll be about 5 minutes or so down the road as we cruise on through here. Now, when we get to the Lone Cypress, I'm going to try and do another group photo. There's kind of two places to go for getting photos of the Lone Cypress tree. One is going to be right along this railing, and that's where I'm going to do our group photo. Just watch your step when you're walking around there, because a lot of people trip because they're looking at the tree and they don't see the little kind of lip on the road there and like the little parking stubs that are there. So just watch yourself. And then you'll have time too, if you want, kind of straight ahead from that, there'll be some staircases leading down to a view where you're kind of looking straight at it. And what makes the Lone Cypress so kind of cool is that it actually sits on this rock out there, just growing kind of right out of the granite. And it's old. It's about 250, 270 years old at this point. And so it's getting towards the end of its life, and it's struggling. Actually, I had to prop it up a little bit, and actually got damaged in some storms in 2019. And I haven't seen it since then, so we'll see what it's looking like at this point. But it is considered, they like to say it is the most photographed tree in the world. Now, you can take photos all you want of the tree, no worries. But if you use them for any sort of enterprise, like business enterprise, you will get cease and desist letters because this is a private area. It's like if you try and use the copyrighted image of Mickey Mouse for your own business. My dad learned that firsthand. He was in computers most of his life, and now that he's retired, he actually does private photography lessons and stuff. I love this house on the left. It's one of my favorite with that like stonework. So he was advertising, you know, his sort of little, you know, photography classes, and he put some of his best photos, and one of them is of the Lone Cypress. He had posted them at the library and community centers and stuff like that, and in a week he was getting a call, and they were like, you cannot use this image unless you pay us the money. So you can see they're getting ready to build a house through here, but you can see how some of the trees have those sort of fences around them. That sort of HOA kind of a thing said you can't get rid of those houses or those trees. So they have to build whatever property around all of those trees. I love this one on the right too, just unbelievable. And a lot of them will have access, kind of private access leading down to the water. Isn't that nice? Oh man.
Is there any height requirement on these houses so you don't block somebody else's view?
It all is based on what the HOA says. I don't think there's an official limit. because if you look back, you can see it's actually quite tall, that one. You put that netting up based on your design, and then they'll either say yay or nay. I imagine there is. I just don't know what it is, you know, officially. You can't build like a 5-story, 6-story thing out here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one's relatively new too, since the last time I was here. I also really like this one up on the left here. It's quite nice. Although the color is not really my personal favorite.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Oh, that one's gonna be nice when it's done too.
Look at the window from here.
As we kind of swing around this next bend, there's going to be one up on the hill, and this one is, we all could live in this house, I swear. There's this little kind of turret house off to the side, and that's where John gets to live. He can have that little turret all to himself, the little tower.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Did you see the gate of the house that's named Anticipation?
All right, so we're coming up to the Lone Cypress here. We're going to do about a 15-minute stop. So when we pull up, kind of follow me. I'll kind of get us.
Take the layers off. For my tank is 4, say now this one. My son is okay, this one is very good. Still here. Now he is a kid.
Is that what it's called? The
La bicicleta.
Bicicleta. Gonna get some pizza. Thank you.
Regular, kind of straight ahead. Yeah, yeah, let's do that. Let's do one of those. I'm gonna do the salumi.
All right, so we left Cannery Row. We spent some time down there. We brought them back to the hotel so they can freshen up, because we are now back at the wharf, which is a separate area from Cannery Row. And we're going to have our farewell dinner. And this is going to be wrapping up our 7-day trip. Well, 7 days for me total. Going to wrap up here with dinner with our group before heading back to our hotel. We're going to be in a hotel tonight. And then tomorrow morning I drop several people at the airport, San Francisco airport. Go into downtown San Francisco, drop off at the Marriott Hotel, and then drive to Modesto. So I'll be home tomorrow night. I'm excited for that. So, hey, let's go have some dinner. Alright, there's a lot of people over here because they have sea lions that are up on the shore. You can hear them and smell them already. Oh yeah, you can smell them for sure. Look at that dog. The dog's like, what the heck? Oh my goodness. More over there. They blended into the rocks, you couldn't even tell that they were there. Alright, well, we have dinner to catch, so just walk on down and meet up at the restaurant. We'll come back and see the seals if we have time. Maybe it's like breeding season. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to ask Ken. He knows everything. I'm gonna ask him why they're all gathered here. If there's a specific reason. I think it's breeding season. I think they're all just here to get with each other. If you know what I mean. That out. All right, we made it to the ends of the wharf, and this is where we're going. Rockfish Harbor Grill here in Monterrey, California. Let's check it out. Hey.
After 9/11, about 4 months later.
All right, well, dinner was amazing. I had some fish. Our friends are still here, making a lot of noise. And we made it back to the hotel. So definitely a long day. The 17-mile drive is awesome if you're ever down. It was Pebble Beach, not Pismo. I think I said Pismo once. So it's Pebble Beach. If you're ever down in the Monterey area, just go down to Carmel to the 17-mile drive. Very beautiful. Beautiful homes, beautiful scenery. They do charge not a lot. I think it's like $5 a person or something like that to drive the 17-mile drive. So definitely check that out. You know, I've done many Monterey videos before, so you can go check those out if you want to see more detailed spots there in Monterey. But basically, we did that. Fisherman's Wharf, we walked there, we saw those sea lions. Oh my gosh, I've never seen that many. Even in San Francisco, you don't see that many sea lions. It's really unusual to see that many and that close. And earlier this week, I don't think I've ever been that close to a deer when we were up in Sequoia. I mean, those bucks were just like right, you could reach out and touch them. It's amazing. So definitely go check out my previous videos. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this series, guys. A whole week doing the national parks. We went to Tahoe. We started in San Francisco. We went to Sonoma, wine country, Napa. We went to Lake Tahoe. We went to Sonora, Tuolumne, Sequoia, Yosemite, then Sequoia, then to Monterey, Carmel. So yeah, man, we packed in a lot. Some of these passengers that we have, man, they're doing like 2 trips back to back. So, I mean, I know how that feels, but you know, being on vacation for that long, that's a long time. Sometimes that's what, 2-3 weeks you're gone on vacation. You need a vacation from your vacation at that point. So anyways, really appreciate you guys being here as always. So yeah, until the next adventure, we'll see you down the road.